Hi folks, Larry Lapkin with Builder's Edge Insurance Services. I'm a licensed insurance broker here in the state of California, and I get a lot of calls from newly licensed contractors, and they ask, are California contractors required to carry commercial general liability insurance? And the simple answer is no, they are not required, although the California Contractor State License Board highly urges contractors to carry commercial general liability insurance. Technically, it's not required unless you are a limited liability company, LLC. I'll get into that more in a minute. But the reality is that if you want to work here in California, if you want to work as a contractor in California, you're going to need to carry commercial general liability insurance. Sooner or later, somebody's going to ask you for a certificate, whether it be the owner of the project that you're working on, or if you're working as a subcontractor, the general contractor is actually required by his own insurance carrier to collect certificates of insurance from the subcontractors. So again, if you're working for a general contractor, the general contractor's insurance carrier is going to require that any subcontractor working for that general contractor has to have his own commercial general liability insurance. And typically the limits have to be the same as what the general contractor carries. So be advised of that. In addition to that, the general contractor will typically require that the subcontractor name the general contractor as an additional insured on the subcontractor's policy. The reality is that if you want to work again here in California as a licensed contractor, you're going to need to carry general liability insurance. What limits should you carry? Well, the norm here in California is 1 million per occurrence with a $2 million aggregate. Yes, you can get lower limits, but the difference in cost between, say, 500,000 and $1 million policy is maybe a matter of a few $100s. So it just doesn't pay to go with anything less than 1 million. People ask, how much does it cost for a commercial general liability insurance? Well, the answer is that the cost really depends on a couple things. What type of work are you doing? Are you a roofer? Are you an electrician? Are you a plumber? The carrier wants to know exactly what type of work you're doing. And some carriers have a bigger appetite for insuring certain types of contractors over other types of contractors. For example, a roofer is not a type of contractor that insurance carriers are really eager to go out and insure. On the other hand, an electrician, a drywall contractor, a HVAC contractor, a landscaper, those types of contractors, it's very easy to get insurance for them. Also, remodeling contractors, guys that are doing home improvements. Believe it or not, it's pretty affordable to get that type of insurance. So the other thing that really determines the cost is, do you have employee payroll? Do you have field laborers that are in the field that are working for you and you're paying them? If you do, that payroll has to be noted on the application. For the more payroll you have, the more you're going to pay for your insurance. Likewise, they want to know if you're subcontracting work to other contractors. They want an estimate of how much you're subbing out in thousands, per thousand. For example, a newly licensed contractor, if he's going to be a remodeling contractor, maybe he might do $100,000 in sales the first year. Of that, he might sub out 25%, which would be pretty typical, and he might be able to get away with that without even having any employees. That's kind of how it works. They also ask what your estimated gross sales are. A few of the carriers still use that as the basis for determining the premium. Limited liability companies, also known as LLCs, the California State License Board does require LLCs to carry liability insurance. By the way, when I was doing my research to make this video, I came across this form on the CSLB website, And it's a form that contractors are supposed to provide to potential clients, I guess. It's per California Business and Professions Code S159.3, otherwise known as SB 2029. And home improvement contractors must provide this notice and disclose to potential customers, I guess, whether or not they carry commercial general liability insurance. And here's the questions. Briefly, did your contractor tell you whether he or she carries commercial general liability insurance? And it says right here, contractors are required by law to tell you whether or not they carry liability insurance. And it goes on to ask, what does this insurance cover? Is this insurance required? And as you can see, just like I said, it says no, but the CSLB strongly recommends that all contractors carry commercial general liability insurance. So what's the process for getting a quote? Well, the best way to get a quote is to call us. We'll ask you a few underwriting questions. Then we go out to the marketplace and we find the best carrier for the type of work that you're doing. And also we find the best carrier in terms of the coverages that you would want to have on your policy. A lot of these policies, well, all policies for that matter, have exclusions. So we want to make sure that the exclusions are something that you can live with. And an exclusion, by the way, is something that's not covered on the policy, just to let you know. Are there other types of insurance that newly licensed contractors need? Yes, there are. If you have employees in California, you're going to need to have workers' comp insurance. If you have a auto insurance, you might want to look into a commercial auto policy. If you have tools and equipment, obviously you might want to make sure that your tools are covered while they're on the job site. If they get stolen, it can be a big problem. That's kind of an overview of how it works, but again, getting back to what this recording is intended to do, really I'm just trying to answer the question, if you're a newly licensed contractor in California, do you need to carry liability insurance? Again, the answer is CSLB says technically no, but in the real world, you're going to need to have this insurance. So feel free to give me a call. We'll be happy to quote your insurance for you, or just answer any questions that you might have for that matter. So thank you for watching. I hope you got something out of today's lesson. If you have any other questions, again, feel free to give me a shout. It's Larry from Builder's Edge Insurance Services. Phone number 530-430-8788. And talk to you next time. Make it a good one.